what's up? I sound funny. It's easily explained. I've been sick for a week and a half. I'm still running a pretty mean fever. But there is a pressing time-sensitive issue, which is testing the Yankee insane HS-M24 power supply, because they want to go into production, and I have one of the prototypes, and I promised them that I would do some tests. Well, I've been, pushing it forward and forward and forward. While they want to go into production, I need to do it. So, for my friends in Poland, I got out of bed and built, another insane testing rig. And I'm going to perform a couple of tests with it, which I've already done, and it passed so far. Now we're going to do some heat testing and running it longer, blah, blah, blah. But I'm going to show you and them what I've done. Once this puppy is actually on the market, you do yourself a favor if you have a lot of pedals and you need clean power and you want it all in one power supply to actually just get this. It's insane. Let me show you. So, sorry for the camera sound. That's, I'm gonna make it easy here. So camera mic is on with my super sexy scratchy voice. This is the pedal board of doom. And that's what I built. They asked me to put a whole bunch of pedals in front and behind the amp, so meaning in front of the Sir Badger and also in the FX loop, to see if there's any feeping, squeaking sound, whatever. Something I learned through them is when you have digital pedals, each digital pedal, in this case that would probably be the M13, the Nova, the Strymons, as well as the Quattro, the Space Delay, and the Alter Ego. Those are all digital pedals. They need their own isolated power supply. As soon as you have two digital pedals on the same output, you will hear high frequency feeping. That is normal. So that's why you need a lot of individual power outputs, obviously with a lot of milliamps, to run your Strymons. But as you can see, well, we can run all of them. And they asked me to use every single output on this thing. So let's go through it. In front of the amp, we have, these are not in the signal chain because they have their own power. And that's just standing there. In front of the amp, we go into the 2-wah from Carl Martin, which gets its power. Yes, it gets its power from 100 milliamp single output. Right here, it's output number 4. That's going into the Octa switch Mark III, which gets its power from, don't ask me, this output number 11. It's switchable between a 9-volt DC and has 400 milliamps. In this Octa switch, I have wired up the DC drive, Purple Moon, the Todd, and the Red Repeat, and they're all getting their power from a single output, which is ISO number 10, running 2000 milliamps max, and it has either 9-volt DC or 9-volt AC or 16-volt AC. So I'm using the 9-volt DC for all 4 pedals. Obviously you can run a lot more chains, but you don't have to because you have the available power outs. I sound sexy, don't I? Let's see, so that's going all... let's see, where does this get its power from? The headroom, the reverb, is getting its power from, because it needs a little bit more than 100 milliamps, I know that, from ISO 5 right here, which is set to 9 volt. It can also be 12, just like ISO 6, 9 and 12. Also running 400 milliamps, so that's more than enough. So that's all in front of the amp. Then there's also the Warp, which needs AC. It needs 12 volt AC, 300 milliamps. And it's getting that from ISO 7, right there. 12 volt AC, that's the white one, going to the Warp. So no extra wall wart for that. Also in front of the amp, actually in front of everything, in front of the wah, wah's going into the phase 90. Phase 90 getting the power from ISO 12, 9 volt. It doesn't need that much. Okay, then the flanger, also in front of the amp, getting its power from ISO 16, which I switched to 18 volts. So that's getting 18 volts right there. The 12 volt ISO 17 is in the FX loop, and that's the Nova delay with 300 milliamps. Now we got 9 and 9, let's see what that is. Oh, that's the El Capistan, gets 9 volt. All these 4 outputs have 400 milliamps each. You see, this is serious power here. So 9 volt and 9 volt going to 2 of those with 400 milliamps each. The Orbit is getting its power from ISO 8, 9 volt DC, could also be 16 or 12 or 16 AC, but I'm using 9 DC, 2000 freaking milliamps. The M13, no power supply for this. This is being powered by the HS-M24. It needs 2000 milliamp minimum, 9 volt AC. And right here, ISO 9 volt AC is powering the M13. No shit. We also have the DIG, which is getting its power from output 6, 9 volt, 400 milliamps. The first 4 outputs only have 100 milliamps only, and they are powering the Quattro, the Alter Ego, and the Space Warp individually. And yeah, this for number 4 is going to the WoW. We already had that. So the funny thing is, how many pedals am I powering here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So that's only 20 pedals, but a lot of pedals that need a lot of power. This needs 2000, 350, 350, 350, 350, 300, 300, 100, and this needs over 300, blah blah. A lot of power right here. This is pretty much almost 1 pedal per output. You can daisy chain a lot of pedals. You could daisy chain, 10 pedals on a 2000 milliamp DC output. So you can run easily 50 to 60 pedals with this thing if you plug them in the correct order and all this. Of course, that means you need to have, of course, that means you need to have the right daisy chain cables, and the crux, the thing that they need to do correctly here is supply you with the right amount and length of cables, because a pedal board of that size that needs this power supply will be big, and having short power cables is completely pointless. They need to give you a lot of daisy chain cables, or preferably even include a cable making kit, a power cable making kit where you can actually have your own length of cable that you make yourself with, something like this. Because I found in trying to build boards with this that my only limitation was not necessarily the amount of power cables, I have shitloads, but the length. Because the boards get huge and this thing will be kind of in the center of it. So the normal cable length doesn't apply, normal power cable length. It comes with AC cables, which is fine. It's totally great because the AC cables are white, and in the AC plugs only the white ones fit. The black ones won't even fit in there, so you can't really make a mistake. Trust me, I tried. But point is, how does it sound? I played around with it. All the pedals work. And there's no feeping, hissing, humming. It's a clean signal. Obviously, I have a shit ton of stuff in the effects loop. If I pull the cables from the effects loop and play the amp dry, the amp sounds better. But that is simply because there's a lot of stuff in between, and I haven't digged around with any buffering or any of this. So far, this thing powers this whole setup beautifully. Next test is, according to them, which I have to run, running it for several hours like this, letting it sit there, probably powering on the pedals, which would be a good idea, engaging them. I don't know if that draws more power, and seeing, oh my god, I'm sweating, freaking fever, and seeing if it still works, if the setup power that I set up here, 9.1, it shouldn't be, I set this to 9, 12 and 18, actually stays on those values. They asked me to check that. And see if after all this time there's still no noise, no hiss. And then we do some putting forks in the holes to see if the fuse actually, works. Overcurrent protection or something, circuit breaking, something. I'm not happy about that. I don't want to break it, but it shouldn't break. That's the whole point. So I'm gonna sit here and wait for this thing to, cook. Hello. So this massive system has been on for a while now. I've had more medication and cough drops in between. And we're gonna see if it still sounds clean. There's a little bit of going on, but that's probably more the normal noise of a crank damp and all that stuff. But I'm just gonna play through some stuff and see if there's feeping, heaping, humming, bumming, huzzing. And if not, I'm thinking it passed that test with flying colors. Let's see. Sorry, just the camera mic, because this is not a sound test really. That is the insane purple moon from Carl Martin. It's supposed to make that sound. That's not the power supply. That's crazy shit! From Carl Martin with an electro Eddie Van Halen flanger in front of it. I'm on medication. Eddie Van Halen flanger MXR in front of it. Through the Todd by Carl Martin. Now with a flanger from Strymon behind it, because double flanging is better than single flanging. A TC electronic alter ego on Echoplex. I don't even know how to turn things on and off here. I don't even know how much shit I've got on now. A lot. And it's pretty freaking quiet for that. We should be off now, no? Yes, we are off. No hiss, no bum, no hum, no fuzzle, no sizzle, no bizzle. Just crazy cool sounds out of a board that I would never have built that way at all. It was just a test board, but with really cool, crazy shit going on. Who would need so many pedals on one board? This guy. Okay, now I'm gonna cover the whole thing, the whole power supply, to see if I can blow it up by overheating it, which it shouldn't. Let's see what the test says. So, I did something you're not supposed to. TV's still running. I'm sorry. This is not polite. I did something you're not supposed to do. So, boys and girls, don't try this at home. I covered up the world's most advanced power supply with a whole bunch of blankets and pillows. And it is now so hot that you could literally bake an egg on it. Which I don't want to try because that would be stupid. But it's extremely hot. Yet the amp is not displaying any sounds or squeaks or eeks or whatever. They said I should have it covered up to the point where I hear something or it turns off. I'm not sure I want to do that. Yeah. There's still sound, but no bad sounds. I mean, you know, sometimes on stage the sun would hit it directly and maybe ventilation isn't good, so this is a test that it has to perform. I'm thinking at the heat that it is right now, you can't even touch it. It's so freaking hot. Yet it is still working. So I don't know how much longer I want to perform this test. I give it a couple more minutes. See ya. An hour later, and I cannot get this thing to blow up or turn off or generate any kind of noise. I mean, it's pretty much under a heavy load and covered in blankets. I can't get it to blow up. What else am I gonna do? The display is still showing. It is pretty damn hot. I can touch it, but it is very hot. So that pretty much leaves pretty much. That's when the Britons have too much. It's pretty much. I don't know. The Britons? Who are the? I'm running a high fever. Excuse me. So that leaves disconnecting it and sticking a fork in all the holes. Wanna watch me do that? Let's do that. So the last part of our testing back on the table here, and I'm actually using the USB out, which it has, which you can use to power the supplied LED lamp, or to charge your iPad, or to do whatever. I'm actually running an USB fan, which I'm now using to cool it back down, which it's doing really quickly. So what I've been doing is the following. Let me see if I can show you this. Don't do this at home, kids. I'm taking a screwdriver and I'm putting it into, well, one of the outputs. It's not actually doing anything. There, you can see it. Did you see that? It bitzled. But it's got a protection, so you plug it in and your pedal still has power. Let's try this over here. Actually, 2000 milliamps, 9 volt DC right here. Let's see if we can see the bitzling. I can hear something. No bitzling. Let's see if it works. Pedal works. We'll try this here, 9 volt AC. Let's try 12 volt AC. There. It's bitzling. Well, very easy. We just take our pedal. Where did it go? We'll take this pedal right here, which is the AC pedal. Put it into the 12 volts. And, ooh, there's still power. So the short circuit protection seems to work. Thinking I'm supposed to do this on all of them. Bitzel, bitzel, bitzel. 9 volt DC. Power still working. Don't really know if there's a point in trying this everywhere. Bitzel, 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 look at that bitzling. Well, it clearly works. Bitzel, bitzel. See, it pretty much turned itself off right there. Short circuit protection, look at this shit. Gone. But if I plug this back in, 18 volts, power, and the power is being had. This concludes the last test. You can superheat this to frying pan dimension heat bulbiciousness. It works. You can stick a fork in it or a screw fork driver and it still works. It will run as many pedals as you can possibly afford and then some. You cannot carry a pedal board, not even with 2 people, that has as many pedals on it as this thing can power. Okay? I tried. I used my 1 meter 20 by 60 centimeter mega pedal board, loaded up with 40 pedals. Leslie and I, we tried to lift it. It's technically possible, but who wants to carry that shit? So, if you're in the market for the most advanced power supply on the planet, in the world, as they say, wait a little bit. This is a pre-production model. Wait a little bit till this is in full production. There will be a full video again where I actually show it, you know, not like this, but on a working board and all this and what you can do with it. There'll be a real demo. And then click on your favorite internet site and order it. And I will let you know where you can do that. Okay, I'm gonna go back to bed now because I'm very sick. Bye-bye.